Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel for my art, Nadine Michelle Art. Thank you all for being here with me today. So what I'm planning to do today, you guys, is I have these tiles. They're bigger. I'm not sure exactly how big, but they're definitely bigger than coaster size. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some swiping on them. I'm really just practicing and trying to get this technique down and get it right. And then in the process, I'm going to make some beautiful art. So what I have set up already is I have my spinner here. This is just a cake turner or cake decorator I got off of Amazon for now. It works pretty good, but I just want a better one. But I have the press and seal saran on it just so that it doesn't get really messed up and really messy because I'm a perfectionist. So a couple tips when setting up, you want to make sure that your spinner is level because otherwise your paint is going to drip down one side or the other depending where it is or is not level at. And then you also want to make sure that you wipe off these tiles really good. They tend to get like hair and dust on them really easily. So you want to take some rubbing alcohol, which is what is in that spray bottle I just lifted up. And you want to clean these very thoroughly, like really well. I noticed even after I cleaned them, I had to go back over them a few times. I mean, granted, I do have 2 dogs, so that could definitely be a factor. And then another tip with setting up with this technique is you want to definitely make sure you have plastic down because depending how hard you spin, you will at least get a little bit in front of you. I would recommend not spinning extremely fast because then you are going to get paint all over your walls and everything. And me personally, I'm kind of lazy with like setting up things, so I don't want to go and have to set up like a big puppy pool and everything when I'm spinning. So me personally, I'll just go and spin slower versus having to set up a lot more things in the process. So the pouring medium I'm using for these paints is 75% Floetrol to 25% of the golden gel gloss. I chose not to use the GAC 800 for this technique because the GAC 800 tends to make your cells spread out more, and I don't like that when my cells go wonky. For my cell activator, I am using 3 parts Australian Floetrol to 1 part Amsterdam white paint. Here's a look at the colors I'm using. This is by far my absolute favorite color palette. I could use these colors all day, every day. Now I'm still trying to figure out the proper consistency, but from what I gathered so far from what works for me is your colors, like your actual colors that you put down to swipe. Those need to be thicker, like a mound on a mound. Your base coat, for me, it needs to be kind of thinner, not super thin, but a little on the thin side. And then your cell activator, I'm still kind of working on the proper consistency for my cell activator, but from what I've seen so far, I need it a little thicker, but not too thick, if that makes sense, but not too thin either. It's hard to explain. So the colors we're using today are Liquitex Basics in Mars Black, Liquitex Basics in Phthalo Blue, Liquitex Basics in Lime Green, Liquitex Basics in Phthalo Green, Decor Americana Decor Metallics in 24 karat gold, and Golden Heavy Body in Permanent Light Green, one of my all-time favorites, and Amsterdam Titanium White. Okay, so we're going to put our base coat on. You don't want to put it all over your canvas or tile yet. You want to be able to stretch it. It's all about the stretch for this technique, so you don't want to fully cover your surface yet. And now we're going to pop our bubbles with our torch here. For this technique and the materials I'm using, you really have to torch well. Like, you have to babysit this, unfortunately, from what I've noticed. Okay, now we're going to start layering our colors on. Right here, I am putting them in lines, and I will layer all of my colors over each other. You will notice that when I'm layering the colors, I'm using a lot less of the blue and the gold. That's because for my final outcome, I don't want as much of those colors, and I don't want them to take over. It's just my preference. Okay, now I'm going to take my palette knife and I'm going to put some cell activator on the back of it, and then we are going to swipe. A couple tips that I have discovered, you don't want to put too much cell activator on the back, but you also want it to be fully coated and you want it to be even on the back. Okay, now we are going to swipe. A couple tips with swiping: go very, very slow. It looks fast when I'm doing it, but in reality, I'm actually swiping extremely slow. And then you also want to use the right amount of pressure. This just comes with time. You'll figure out how to do it for the look you like. But yeah, those are two very big things with swiping. Okay, now we are going to swipe again. Something I also really enjoy to do with my pieces is I like to do scoops and drags and wreck it a little with the palette knife. I only like to wreck it in a certain way. I do not like it with the chopsticks and stuff, but yeah, I'm really picky. Now I'm just adding a little extra base coat just to make sure I have enough paint in there so it'll flow really easily. But look at all those cells, you guys. This is why I love this technique. Okay, now I am going to spin a little bit. Now when you're spinning, you don't need to spin extremely fast. It looks fast on here, but in reality, I'm going pretty slow. Otherwise, I would have paint all over my walls. Now you're probably wondering why I am spinning and tilting, and I will tell you why. So when I tilt, I have more control. So if there's a part I don't want to lose at all, then I will tilt to have more control. But if I want to open it up more and make it like bigger, then I will spin. So that's my reasoning of why I'm doing both. Okay, and now I'm going to make another one. And something I discovered when I was doing this is when I laid my colors in just little lines, I wasn't getting as much color as I wanted on the actual piece. So I decided to put my colors more in puddles. And I'm so glad I did, because I got the look I like a lot more. And you have to do that, you guys. Try new things, and you'll discover that you might like it better. Okay, and now we're going to swipe again. So something I still have to work on is the consistency of my cell activator and how I'm swiping, because as you can see towards the start of my swipe, I'm getting just a lot of white and cell activator, and that's why I'm adding more color. So I just have to work on that still a little bit more. And of course, I'm going to do some scoops and drags and wreck it with the palette knife. I really like to do this because you can pull up colors that are underneath, and that's how I got that blue to come up on the edge there. I don't know if you can see it. And now I'm going to do a combination of tilting and spinning to get it to the composition that I'm looking for. I really like to play around with it too and kind of make it my own. In a minute you'll see me add different green parts and drag them up there and everything. It makes it more abstract and more organic looking, and that's the type of look I'm going for, is like an abstract landscape almost kind of look. So I really like how this one came out, and I like how I layered the colors because you get more color on there, and this is more the look that I was going for. Okay, and here's the finished wet results. I really like this one, but like I was saying, the other one just has more color and the swipe is just a lot better. So I like that one a lot more. See how much more color is on this one as opposed to the other one? Well, that's because I layered the colors a lot differently. And I really like this, how this came out. And my actual swipe technique when I'm swiping on this one wasn't as good as this one. This one is just way better, way more cells and everything. But here's the dry results. These came out really good. I did have a couple issues I'll tell you about in a second. So I'm having a lot of issues with air bubbles with this. It's a lot better with the gel gloss, but you really have to babysit it. For the first hour, I was torching it every 10 to 15 minutes, and I still had some issues that I will show you. Okay, so you can see it pretty good on this one, but right there I do see all those pinholes. That's from air bubbles popping up, even though I torched several times. I torched for the first hour, but I'm still having a little bit of issues, and I think it was because my base coat was a little too thick. I just can't make it work. It has to be a little bit thinner for me. But overall, I'm really satisfied with how these came out. It's okay if those air bubbles are there. I can resin them, and you will not even know they were there. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching Nadine Michelle Art. Thank you for being here with me today. Now go create something beautiful. Bye.